Midmo Reapers would like to thank these great products. Huntworth. From clothing, gloves to headwear, choose Huntworth. Scent Thief. Making the wind your cover. And let's not forget Reveal by Tacticam. Now before we get back to the hunt with Mike, here are some great tips from the guy who came out with the first grunt call, Brad Harris.
Wanted to get you this rattling video. No, it's not rocket science. You just got to believe in it. It works everywhere I've ever been, and killed a lot of my bigger bucks doing it. Throw in the grunt call. A lot of times before I rattle, I'll grunt loud, that direction, pause, and then grab the horns. I also grunt between sequences, sometimes grunt after, so keep the grunt call handy. And again, just remember that when you clash them together, no matter what time of the year, you're throwing out an invitation. It's like casting a fishing lure. You got to be ready for the bite. So when you cast this sound, you got to be expecting something to happen. Because they'll sneak in on you and they'll get away from you, and you won't even know they're there sometimes if you don't pay attention. So anytime that I rattle or grunt, I for 10 minutes, try to stay on red alert. So, because sometimes they charge in. I've shot them when they come running in as hard as they can go. And I've shot them 8 minutes later, walking in, sneaking or looking. So you just got to expect action. First thing is get a good set of antlers. I like the bigger horns. I want something, not all horns are created equal. I want something that's got some sound to it. So I use a little bit heavier set, cut the brow tines off, because if you don't, you'll wish you did, because you will mash your hands big time. Sometimes I even shorten the tips of the antlers and round them off and not so pointy. But the idea is to get a good set. But anyway, there's two ways to rattle. One of them is early season, or when you're just trying to get attention, or coax one on closer. Just tickling the tips of the antlers like bucks do when they are sparring. They're not mad. They're just pushing and shoving. And so that's one technique that I use. But when I have my best luck is certainly during the rut, pre-rut, rut, and even post-rut. And I rattle pretty aggressive. Again, I'll sometimes, depending on how windy or how calm it is, I won't do a whole lot. I'll get in here and just put them horns together and twist them back and forth. And remember, they pause a lot when they're rattling. So you start a sequence like that, and just roll your antlers together and just make that noise. Again, keep watching all the time, because I've killed them on the first crack of the antlers, had them run off a hill and run right to me. So you never know when it's going to work. But I like to rattle aggressive. I pause a lot. I'll hit it 15 or 20 seconds and watch while I'm doing it. Pausing and watching. May throw a grunt in, may not. Then I'll start up again. They've rested a minute, now they're back at it. And then I'll pause again. It's just by feel. I don't time it or anything like that. And then I'll start again. Depending on what I'm doing, I might do that sequence 5 or 6 times, and I might get real aggressive with it, really banging things together, especially the candy. But I want them to hit, and I want them to think two mature bucks are having at it. Pause a lot, be aggressive, don't be afraid to beat them together. Just don't continually rattle. Give a lot of breaks in between. And keep your eyes open and your ears open. I hear them walking or running a lot of times before I see them. Don't quit on them when you see one come running and he stops out there a long ways. Just watch him and then just coax him on in. Don't let him take time to figure it out and then try to circle downwind. I want to keep, it's like a big bass. You get them hooked. You don't give them any slack, and that's what I do to the deer. Once I get them hooked, I'm going to keep that line tight and keep feeding them. A lot of people say, oh, quit calling if they're coming. No, I don't. I want to keep them coming. I want to keep them on a straight line, not give them a chance to go downwind and catch my wind. A big deer, when he's fired up, generally don't come running in and go downwind. He's coming right at the sound and take control. And like I said, I've killed a lot of good deer doing that. It works very, very well. It's just a matter of going out there, and there's no right or wrong to it. Just take a few of the things I've said there. And like I said, I've been doing it for many, many years. I've had really good luck with it. And there's no reason you can't, have good luck with it as well. So just keep after them. One thing I do is, especially when it's in the rut phases, I always rattle before I get down. When I think I'm going to get down, okay, then I ain't seen anything, nothing's going on. I don't care if it's 11 o'clock or noon. I'll bang them horns together once or twice, just in case a buck is bedded within earshot of me and I don't know it. I've had that work for me many times over the years, and even got on video with the Realtree and some of those guys where before I get down, I crack them horns together 3 or 4 times and then just watch, and I'll wait my 10 or 15 minutes. Don't see anything, I'll get out and go on about my business. So any time of the day, I do a lot of it from tree stand, but I've done a lot of it from the ground. I get a good wind, and I know big bucks in an area, and I'll slip in there downwind to that area and crack them horns together from the ground, and I've had luck doing that too. I've moved and just hunted most of the day or most of the morning through big timber patches, just downwind and rattling into the bedding areas, and I've had good luck doing that. But I always have them with me when I'm bow hunting, especially during the pre-rut through the rut end of the year. Those antlers are with me, and they pay off. So.
About 40 minutes ago, I hit a nice big doe, and I saw her fall, but I just waited, and a spiked buck came in, and cannot leave her alone. He's been back and forth, go out 50 yards, come back 4 or 5 times. I'm guaranteeing you she's an estrus, or this young buck wouldn't be so interested. Let's go look at my big doe. First thing we're going to do is get my bloody arrow. Good bloody arrow. Now then, let's walk up here and find doe. Right there, folks. Right there is Roux Home Thanksgiving backstraps. I'll get her all turned around here and we'll talk about it. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Hi, folks. Found the big doe, and when I say big, it's a big doe, big mature doe. Thank you, Lord, for this gift, for this blessing, and for the opportunity to be out here. Got a couple of things that I'd like to try to pass along to you guys from a deer biology standpoint. This doe was being trailed by her 2 fawns. They were about 50 yards behind her. Perfect time to harvest a mature mama doe, because from a deer biology standpoint, she's still got her 2 fawns with her. Means she has not yet come into estrus. Means that the timing is perfect, because you want to shoot the doe before the estrus starts, because when that starts, she's going to run her 2 fawns off. She's going to run her 2 fawns off before the bucks start chasing her, so that the big bucks that come in for her don't injure those fawns. So she'll run them off. Well, the little doe fawn, that's fine. She's going to go across the creek and she'll be fine. The little buck fawn's built different. He's going to probably leave the farm, leave the territory, might even leave the county, because that's just what a buck does. So the best way to have both that little doe and that buck grow up on your property is to harvest mom before the rut. That is important from a herd management, from a quality herd management standpoint. Taking the doe out of the herd is essential for your buck to doe ratio, but having her fawns grow up on your farm is important for you. The second thing I want to talk about is shot placement, mainly for bow hunters, but gun hunters need to listen too. My background professionally is in nuclear cardiology. I have a very good grasp of what the heart and lungs do when they're traumatized. A lot of guys say you've got to hit right above that shoulder, you've got to get that heart. Not me, and I'll tell you why. I know that whenever the heart is traumatized, when it is injured, to preserve life in that body, it will shut down. On the other hand, if you put an arrow or a bullet through both lungs, immediately that animal's blood pressure drops. And to compensate for that drop in blood pressure, the heart pumps harder. As the heart pumps harder, more blood is coming out of the holes you made, and it's going to make your tracking much easier. I highly recommend a double lung shot over a heart shot, especially if you've got a deer that you're going to have to track. I didn't have to track this when I watched her fall 40 yards out with a double lung shot. It's what I recommend. From a quality herd management, from taking care of your deer, this is what I recommend. Thank you, Lord, and thank you, folks, for watching Mid-Mo Reavers. We got a lot more coming.